Inamomo'ane,
Alamanahea
inakaamo'ole,
walea
inaa'i,
anoma
unoko'ambe'e.
weo.
Hello, beautiful hearts. Welcome. For those of you who don't know us, I am Carissa,
And I'm Susan.
and together we make Two Open Hearts. Susan and I are Reiki practitioners, and we also specialize in Dragon Reiki, and we have been on a spiritual journey for quite some time. We are also mother-daughter, for those of you who did not know. And we are here today and many other days to share with you bits and pieces of our knowledge and wisdom that we have come across on our journeys, things we think will help you in your own life.
And today we are here to talk about power animals. We all have power animals that connect with us, and they come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. They're just limitless. All of the animal and insect kingdom can come to you and be of service.
Yes, the power animals they're just amazing. They're fantastic. We began our spiritual journeys working with our power animals, and they're what kind of started us off. And so we have a beautiful, special place in our heart for our power animals and our guides. And everybody has one or more. The way Susan and I understand it is that everybody has three or four. Probably could it be exceptions to this rule too, but everyone has three or four main power animals that are with them their entire life. They're not always actively in the foreground of your life, but they're always with you. They're always supporting you. And oftentimes they have been with you for many lives.
Yes, and you do have power animals that come in at different times in your life when you need a different type of help, different protections, different guidance. They'll step in to help you through a different period in your life when you need something different.
Yes, and those ones sometimes then at the end of that period will leave and you won't work with them again as closely, or you might not really work with them again in your life. So it just depends. And each type of animal carries vastly different energy. They can help in so many ways, and they all carry, lots of different ways to help each one, but their energies are vastly different from each other. The same way when you look at the animal kingdom, you can tell they're very different from each other, right? Bears are on the ground and they dig in the earth, and eagles soar and fly. So the energies they carry are naturally going to be very different.
Yes, and you'll get an idea of who your power animals are just because you're going to feel a lot of love, and you're going to find so much beauty in the animals that are potentially your spirit animals, because you'll when you see them, it'll fill you with joy, with a lot of emotion.
Yeah, with a lot of your main guides, it is a really powerful connection. And so being able to see them in real life will elicit an emotional response. And sometimes even if you're watching documentaries and things. Now, that isn't true of every power animal you have. So sometimes when you take this path and begin to meet your animals, excuse me, sometimes you'll meet one that surprises you. And that happened to me. So my first power animal that came in to meet me when we were intending to meet our power animals, that like when we set out, we intended to meet the power animals that needed to come in at this time and help us and help us in whatever way we needed. And the one that came to me was Black Bear. And I had no idea. Now, after meeting with Black Bear and working with them, I have that emotional response, but I didn't prior to that. So I didn't know. But many of my other mains, I had an emotional connection with before meeting them. So it goes both ways. You will have an idea of which animals some of your power animals are. You just may not always know all of them before you meet them.
That's true. Sometimes you can be really surprised by ones that show up because you really had no idea um, that they were there or anything about them really. So
Mhm.
that is true. It can go both ways.
And I'm thinking that it might be like your subconscious, even. Like in my case, I'd worked with black bear in many lives and lots of bears. I'd worked with grizzly bears and other bears in many lives. So that wasn't new to this life. And yet I still had no idea prior to doing this spiritual work. And it might have been because part of me didn't want me to remember those things until the right moment. So that is possible in my case as well, as to why I didn't remember the connection before it was time.
I think that happens to a lot of us. I think that everything happens in divine timing. So I think that definitely could be what happened and why you didn't really have a connection with them. That's very true.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because it was definitely like, now I know I've got lots of connection and lots of memories and lots of remembrances from working with them. And we wanted to just briefly touch on how we both started, and we both started connecting with our power animals through shamanic journeying.
Yes, it is a very powerful way to connect and meet your power animals, your guides. It's very beautiful. And it's something that we do recommend if you're interested in to definitely look into.
Yep, to do a little bit of research on that. So what's neat about shamanic journeying is it's been done by many cultures all around the world. It is not unique to any one place. Different native tribes and different native indigenous peoples use shamanic journeying, even though they have different names for it, all over. And it involves using sound, repeating the same sound to create the ability to go into a trance. So I have my rattle here. And so some tribes will use a rattle to make a repetitive sound, and some other ones use a drum. And some use both together, and some use other instruments. And the key is just that the sound repeats itself. So it would be like bum, 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 bum. And it helps you to get into a meditative trance. And what's neat about it is that science has studied this a little bit, and they've used EEGs to monitor brain waves. And they found that when you hear repetitive drumming, like shamanic drumming, it moves your brainwave state from beta, which is what it's normally in, to theta. And this is what allows you to connect with your power animals.
Yes, it's really, it's a wonderful experience. So if you have not investigated or have not heard about journeying before, I definitely recommend it. It's a beautiful experience.
And if you would like us to create a video or podcast that goes more in depth about shamanic journeying, really more like a tutorial on how to do it from beginning to end, let us know in the comments.
When you do start to journey, you can actually go in to a journey with the intention to ask questions for help in your life. You can also just go in to play. You can set an intention to just go in and play with your power animal.
They really enjoy the connection with us, because these power animals that we have, they have worked with us for lifetimes. They do care about us. Sometimes they've not only worked with us in human form, sometimes we have been an animal with them in a lifetime. We might have been their son or daughter or brother or sister or mother. And so we have really strong bonds, and they don't always want to just be serious or here's what you need to do with your life. Sometimes they just want to play.
Yes, in this lifetime, one thing that is for sure, we don't play enough and we don't have enough happiness and joy as a rule. We most of the time are too busy working too hard. But it is very important, and they do try to bring us back to play, to be in joy. That is that is the best way.
Yes, and it's one of the beautiful things about the animal kingdom. I mean, they live daily lives and they have stressors too, especially like prey animals, but they live in the moment. they focus on the day, you know. They are not always living months ahead in their mind or months behind. Yes, some of them do prepare for winter and things like that, so they must either run on instinct or know that they must do some things for the future, but they live in the now, and they help us to better live in the now when we reach out to connect with them.
Yes, that is very true. They do live in the now. Most of our animal friends do not have the burdens that us as human beings have, where we do sometimes focus too much on the past and too much on the future instead of just enjoying this moment, this day, and everything that's in it.
Yes. So it's a really beautiful thing when you decide to connect with your power animals. We highly recommend it. If you do go out and research journeying and you want to do that on your own, we recommend that you always set your space first. You know, set your space to be of light and love. You know, just be of the highest vibration, and always to intend that whoever you're working with, it is a being of the highest vibration of unconditional love, because that way you're always just working from the highest and it serves you the best.
Yes. And then get ready to be pleasantly surprised by who you meet.
Hmm. It's fun. It's fun. And I want to talk a little bit about the animals. You know, each animal in the animal kingdom, including insects, they all have different qualities. And sometimes you can really learn about what the messages they're giving you or about their energy by thinking about the qualities. So if you're in a meditation or a journey and you come across like a porcupine, right? Those animals are tough and they don't take flack from nobody. They have their own protection and they're really connected with earth. They dig in the ground, they dig burrows. So you can think of porcupine as a protector, and you can infer what you know about the animal kingdom to help understand what the guides might be bringing to you. But I want to also add that don't limit them to the same animals we have on earth, because while power animals are connected to the earthly brothers of whatever species they are, they're not limited in the same physical way. So we both work with Grandfather Bear, who's a giant like Kodiak grizzly bear. He is in charge. He is strong and fierce and also loving and protective, and he can fly spaceships. He has told us before and shown us images that he works with the star people and he pilots spaceships. And I know people might think, "God, that sounds crazy," but they are not a physical animal being here. They are so much more. So they do connect with the physical animals, and they do have similar connections to what those animals do here on earth, because those animals here have immense power and beauty and strength and lessons. But your power animals are able to do even more in their, I don't know how to say that, because they're not limited to a physical body, really is probably the reason.
Yes. Yes, they're not limited to their physical bodies, so their capabilities are just limitless.
Hmm.
And some of us have feathered guides, the flyers, and sometimes they come into our lives to give us a different perspective on something that we're going through, because sometimes we're stuck in the mire of it and in the gook, and we just can't see. So sometimes the flyers do come in just because they have a different perspective and they can help us in that way.
Yeah, it's really helpful when you do meet your power animal, or if you already kind of have a really strong connection to one and you know what that animal is, look at what it does. And then you can start to find the lessons. You know, eagles soar way up high, they soar above the storms. Not all of the flyers do. Some of them, they also are high, but not all of them fly as high. So if you specifically have eagle, they might help you rise up like literally above problematic situations, and not just show you more perspectives, but literally just get the heck out of Dodge, right? Where if you have Hawk, they're really communicators. And so they might help you to communicate better with people to solve the problems of the situation you're in, while also viewing it from a different place than you are currently.
Yes, and sometimes Hawk, we work with Hawk when we're going to be doing classes or mainly classes, I guess. And like, say with this video, we call on Hawk to ask him or her to bring in people that would need to the information that we're going to have a class about, or in this case, to watch a video about what we're going to about a certain topic. Hawk goes out and finds the people that need to hear it. So they're so helpful and useful in so many different situations.
Yes, it's beautiful. They're just fantastic. I know we say that a bunch in this video, and it's just the truth, you know?
Yes. And there are several different books out too that you can locate that talk about the different power animals. And um, I have one here. This is one that we use. It's not the only one, but this is the Animal Spirit Guides. It's by Stephen Farmer. And it just gives a lot of different insight and information into the different attributes and qualities of some of the different animals.
Mhm. Yeah, it helps you to understand maybe why they're being more prominent in the forefront when you are trying to connect with them, or even if you're not trying to connect and you start seeing an animal all over commercials or videos or calendars, whatever have you. If something's catching your attention and it's catching it more than one time, it's because that animal is here with a lesson or some guidance to help you out. And so if you look up things, and in that book is a particularly useful one to look up what that meaning might be.
Yes, they do show up and they do try to get our attention. And when they do capture your attention, there's generally a reason. So it's a good idea to follow through to find out maybe what qualities the animal carries and see how it relates to your life.
Mhm.
And our power animals can come and help us at different times of need. There was one time I was going through a dental procedure, and I had Grandmother Bear show up in a pink apron. And she was just it was such a so soft and sweet image. And she was so caring and remained with me through that, just to offer me the comfort. So they can do many beautiful things for us.
Yes, and just by working with your power animals, you can begin to open up your spiritual gifts. So they're a beautiful companion and friend to have, and the very nature of just working with them will help you connect to gifts you've had in many lives, to new gifts, to open up your spiritual knowledge, your psychic abilities. You can begin a journey of getting stronger intuition and realizing what your other special gifts are when you work with your power animals.
Yes, they do open you up and they enhance your life. They do promote your growth, your spiritual growth. And they're here to help us through every step of our lives. And all you have to do is connect with them. They are ready for us to make that connection always. They want nothing more than to help us in our lives. They're very beautiful beings.
Yes. And one thing you can maybe start doing even before you journey, although I didn't do it before I journey, I do it now. So I don't know how it will work inversely. But every day when I do, I set my space and I just kind of intend protections and love to surround me. But what I do in addition to that is I invite in every being who is of my team, who is with me, helping me. And I say it like this: all the beings around me who are working with the highest vibration of unconditional love for my highest good and the highest good of all, I welcome you in today to help me, offer me suggestions, help me follow my path, and give me some guidance. And in doing that, it just gives them permission to come in and help in those positive ways. I mean, you get to specify exactly how. Notice I said, offer me suggestions, not pick all my choices and tell me what to do, right? Like you get to invite them in and they can help more in that way than if you haven't invited them in at all.
It is important to invite them in. They do love to be, they do love to come in and help you, and they cannot come in without your invitation. And you will be pleasantly surprised at sometimes different ideas and things that come into play once you've invited them in, because they do love to help us out in all aspects of our lives.
Yes, sometimes you will get an idea or a solution to a problem that may feel like it's your idea, but it'll also feel like something you didn't expect to think of. So it's almost like all of a sudden you know how to do something differently that you didn't know before, and that's them helping you with suggestions.
Yes, it's a
It's
very
made,
beautiful union.
yes, it has made my life much much fuller, you know? A lot of my problems have been solved, things I just didn't think of. They offer workarounds to things that we cannot always see in our everyday physical life. Even simple little things, you know, they just help me to make my days easier, and they bring more love to my life, and I wouldn't ever want to lose my connection with them again.
Nope, I would never want to lose my connection either. It is beautiful. I do encourage any of you who are interested to follow up and really investigate this. The power animals are beautiful.
They are fantastic, and they help you to blossom and grow, and they'll working with them will guide you to other things that are really important for your life path in this lifetime as well. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
We hope that you have enjoyed this video and our talks and some of our experiences with our own power animals. And if you have, make sure to like and subscribe, because we release a new video every week and you can hear more of our silly stories.
Yes, thank you for joining us.